All right, it is time to cut in some guitar strings before I do the burnishing and sanding on this new little painting. I don't try to get things exact, but I like to be in the ballpark. So I just cut a bunch of strips that I feel are going to be close to what I need. And then hopefully they will fit in these grooves I've already cut out. It's going to be fun. So quiet when I'm recording in the studio. I don't want any issues with my videos, copyright stuff. So I got the music down really low, and hopefully the mic's not picking it up, so I don't get blocked on YouTube especially. Oh well. I am getting better about, there are days I will come in the studio and I'm okay working in silence, especially when have been really contemplating, new painting or some ideas for some new work. I just need some quiet so my brain can do its thing without interruption. And then after a while I get tired of the quiet and I just crank up some hard rock or something. It just varies. And I do jump around on the type of music I listen to. I've probably talked about this before. Just because I'm a big fan of anything, just about any music. I can go from classical to country to rock. I have my favorites. I don't listen a lot of hip hop. It's not my thing, but occasionally I do. Again, a lot of it has to do with just how I feel, what I'm into, and if I can't decide on something, there are times I'll just randomly pick some music that maybe I wouldn't normally listen to. Go to the top hits on iTunes or something and just see what those are like. Excuse me. That can be fun because then you find things that you've never heard before. Give that a listen for a while. That's another thing. You find an artist and then you dive into their catalog of music and then you see what comes up afterwards that's related to their type of work. And then you run across somebody else you might like. Or occasionally you just like, this ain't doing it no more. Talking about music while I'm working on this instrument. I like it. Just about ready to go full on burnishing here in just a second. Pretty much been doing it anyhow. I keep clearing my throat because I've had some really heavy allergy issues lately. I'm on the good side of that now, thank goodness. But it's still got drainage in it. It's kind of aggravating. Strings cut in there. So yeah, I started recording some videos and just have these weird thoughts while I'm sitting here working. And it's really interesting the things that pop into your mind. You feel like you should share them, so that's what I'm gonna do. We're all getting into, well, at least I think as you get older, you start thinking about things in a little bit different way. Things slow down. You get, especially when you get a better understanding of the world, you see things different. Not better, just different. And then you think back to your younger days and how you would have done things a lot in a different way if you'd had the knowledge that you do now. But I think it's kind of like the creative process. You don't have the knowledge until you go through the experience. So as you get the experience, your perspective changes. So that's where I'm at. I'm in that point of life where my perspective has changed quite a bit. And I just want to talk about it, even if nobody's listening. Sandy. So I'm doing a series of guitars, or not necessarily guitars, musical instruments, let's just say. Starting with guitars just because I've been on this subject for a little bit. But it's a series called Honeytone. And of course, the honeytone comes from me using beeswax. And I plan to kind of explore some other instruments here soon. I'm not going to dedicate all my time to that because I want to play a little bit over in the shop, and also have another big project I'm working on that I will talk more about later. But it'll include a large painting, and I'm kind of in process of going through all those different ideas, doing some sketches on the subjects that I want to include in this painting, because this is going to be hopefully one that I complete in time for submitting to Art Prize for next year. And if you're not familiar with Art Prize, it's one of the largest art competitions, and it's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's going on right now, actually. This is early October the 3rd. So you can go see all the venues in Grand Rapids. that participate hang artwork from artists all around the world. And there's a fan vote, and then there's a juried vote, and there's big prize money up. That's well done. I participated in it, and I think it was 2010 with an installation piece I did. And doing it that one time gave me the idea that if I did it again, it would have to be something that I was extremely excited about and felt like I had a chance to win some prize money. And so I think I have some ideas that could be impressive. We'll see once I start following through with my ideas. You get an idea of what that's going to be. I'll be sharing some of that the journey, and we'll see what happens. The last time I did something similar was when I did Art Fields, which is in South Carolina, and I did the large painting of the clown off the clock. I was pretty proud of that one. That was a good one. Things didn't go as I planned. I'd planned to finish that one on site, which I did, but I didn't get the following that I was hoping for. I guess I went in thinking too much of what I was doing and just assumed that people were going to be interested in my process. You know, I've gotten some interest on my YouTube channel and social media, but not to the level where I have a following. So it didn't work in that way. And in Art Prize and Art Fields are pretty different in the way that the artwork is chosen for different venues. At Art Prize, you can submit and to the places you feel like you'd be a good fit. Whereas in Art Fields, the venues actually choose the artists from they get a drawing, and then they choose the artist that they want to put in their venue. So you don't, as an artist, you don't know who's going to choose you. At Art Prize, at least you can kind of communicate with the different venues and kind of negotiate or whatever. I think I actually just emailed 10 different venues that I was interested in, and I had a couple respond, and one actually said yes. So next year, we'll see how it happens. But I'm looking forward to that. I need to do something out of the box. It's fun selling work in galleries, but I've done so many different art shows. I think those are really, I don't know, just a big deal. We'll see. Okay, I got this thing sanded. Woo. We've been going on for 14 minutes. And we're going to put some water on it. These smaller guitars are really hard to get the details in as I do the larger ones. The last ones I did were, well, I've done several of these 12 by 12s, which are small. The ones I did before this were 24 by 24s, and you can get a lot of detail in those without driving yourself crazy. These take a different kind of patience. I managed, but The last two turned out pretty cool. Hopefully this one will too. I want to move the camera up here a little closer. How about that? Let's see if we can't get a better view. I know it's not great. Time for a drink. I should be drinking hot tea and not ice water. It would probably help me a little bit. Oh well. Maybe after lunch. It was funny. I forgot which painting I did. I'm taking the color off or the paper off, and I'm like, oh yeah. I think this is the Stratocaster, if I'm not mistaken. I've done it several times. It's just a beautiful guitar. I love the palette, the colors. I've also done this in different colors, not just the sunburst. And so far, I'm liking what I see. It's funny, I've been doing this for 15 years, or actually more than that, and I still get nervous revealing the transfer because I've had some in the past that didn't work out quite like I hoped they would. Sometimes the colors don't come off as vibrant or whatever as you want, and sometimes I accidentally grab some magazines or papers that don't transfer well, or I just have an area that just washes off on me, and I have to get creative. I've had a couple paintings where I was rubbing off and the ink was coming off with it. I still to this day, I don't know if it was something in my wax or what. Luckily, that doesn't happen often. All right. This one looks pretty cool. So I'm going to carve in the details next. Well, after I fuse all this. Let's see. It's funny is I'm not used to doing video where I talk while I'm doing the process. 9 times out of 10, I'm doing a time lapse, and sometimes I'll dub over it or I'll just put text in the comment underneath the video. So forgive me if I ramble on. I'm just trying to make sure I'm saying something. All right, here goes some heat. So we're going to fuse the ink that's laying on top of the beeswax into the wax, and then I'm going to start carving in the details, getting my highlights, and then removing the wax around the outside, the negative areas. That'll brighten up the background, and then hopefully make the guitar feel more forward. And then once the all that's done and I put a sealer on it, we'll be able to really see those colors come to life. Yeah, this is cool, but I just don't think these guitars translate as well in this size. It's funny, some subjects look really good on a scale like this, and then some subjects look better when they're large. And something like architecture, I found I can get both of those to work well. This is okay. I feel like by zooming in on a guitar to get the details the way I have to, I feel like I'm losing a lot when you have a larger piece and you're able to get more of the body of the guitar. Like this is the print, but you can see this was an 18 by 24 original. So at least I was able to get more of the body, more of the knobs and stuff, so I could really put in a lot of those details. This one, I got some, and you'll see once I start carving into it, some of the details will actually come to life, but just not as dynamic as the larger piece. I don't know. Some people may think differently. I hope so. All right, so now we're going to do a little carving. I feel terrible. I keep clearing my throat and coughing. Sorry. Maybe I don't have any cough drops with me. I don't think. That would have been smart. Cough drops. All right. Be careful there. It's still kind of warm, and I'm rubbing a rag across it. I'm lucky I didn't scratch it. Okay. This is going to be a longer video, but I guarantee you the other videos I do probably won't be quite as long. This one's long because I feel like I want to get most of this process documented. And I'm going to pull up my original image here so I can make sure I'm getting the details I want. I got so many photos on my iPad or in my stuff that I've to the point where I can't find things when I need them. There we go. So there's the photo I use for reference. Well, it's one of them. That is not the actual one I'm using. That's funny. I think it's somewhere. Okay, it's close enough where I can get the details. It's the same guitar, just different view. And we're going to start out, since it's still a little warm, this outer edge. I'm going to go ahead and get a line. And by the way, this is when it gets kind of nerve-wracking because one wrong move and you're carving something away and you can't put it back. Yeah, when I'm doing the background as the panel where I'm just carving away the wax, it's really crazy because I lose a lot of that edge of the guitar. If you can see around the edge, a lot of times that transfer is kind of thin. Up here it's not too bad. Over here it's not bad, but some of it does that. It's not a deal breaker or nothing, but kind of aggravates me. And I'm getting some of the detail. I'm not doing it exactly as the original. I'm just implying some of those lines. Yeah, the idea is to carve some of that ink out, which will reveal that blonde wood in the background, so I get highlights. Let's go with a little different carving tool. I have different size points, so I can get thicker or thinner. This is just a needle shoved into a wine cork. It's really good for thin lines. Need to get now, try not to overdo the details. You want to leave a little room for interpretation, I guess you'd call it. Screws. Ooh, they're hard to do. Still, I'm concentrating. I got quiet. Okay. It's funny how different painting will look after all these details are cut in. There are areas where I will put solid colors, because I know I'm going to come in here and do this. And it brings it to life when you these details put in. And just like any other style of painting, I gotta occasionally stop and stand back from it. Make sure I'm not taking away too much. Because at this point it's subtractive. End of the painting. Need something to hold my hand up here so it's at the same level. At some point I may just do these videos live where I jump on and working. See it in real time. Of course you are now, but it's going to be a recording. It's easy at this point too I'm so close to the painting my face, getting these details cut in. Need to step back occasionally and take a different look. So many screws. That's what makes it's a good subject. It's got all these little details. There's too much solid area. It'd be too boring to paint. It's a fine line. I do like to the metal pieces on here have a reflection of the strings. I try to capture some of that, and that'll show up a little bit more once I carve those strings in. I'll typically get to a point on a painting where I think I've got it all carved out the way I want it. I like to just let it sit off to the side while I think about it and just kind of keep looking at it. And there are times when I'll go back and I'll notice something that I want to change or correct. Sometimes I just leave it alone. But if I wait before I put the sealer on it, then I can come back in and do some more carving, hit it with the heat gun. If I get too quick on the sealer, I can't do anything else to it. Once the sealer's on it, there's no more carving, because then it's got that coating on top of it, and you can't put heat on it anymore. Now, traditional encaustic artists don't put that sealer on like I do, and they can go back and rework areas over and over again. But no, I got to be different. And the reason I do that is just that thin layer of ink sitting on top of the wax. After it's fused in, it's probably fine, but the sealer, first it gives it a little more unity in the way that the ink looks. So almost any painting I do, even if the magazine ink is all from the same magazine, they will have different sheens. And what the sealer will do is even that out, so I don't have a flat black with a shiny black, or flat orange over here with the shiny black. So it makes it all just more cohesive. Okay. Just kind of glancing over here and trying to figure out if there's any more little details I want to focus on. Oh, I gotta do the marks around here. Trying to get all these details done, then I'm going to go in and carve out the wax. Keep seeing things I need to do. Almost there. For the strings, further down. I'll put color down, black in this case, and then I carve away a little bit, but still leave some of that black. It almost looks like the shadow or the dark side of that guitar string. Then there's the thinner strings. It's just where I've carved away. Trying to do this without going too deep on these smaller strings. So there you can see the guitar strings. Alright, I'm going to put my initials in it. And to make this easier, I'm going to heat this up so I can carve away. Oh, tools are falling apart. And carve away the negative areas. Notice I go back in and put a little heat on those areas where I've already carved in details, and that will basically kind of smooth out some of those ragged edges from where I've carved. I don't mind some of that being kind of, well, how to describe it, it's kind of rustic, or it's very tactile. And I smooth it out a little bit with the heat. And even when I'm removing this wax, I'm not taking all of it off. I'm trying to leave a really thin amount where you can see the tool marks that I'm using here to carve away. It's got a little bit of texture to it. And again, I'll hit this with a heat gun once I'm done carving to kind of even it out some. All right, so we're almost to the end. If you have stayed with me, thank you. I don't know if I'd love some feedback. Is this something? I feel like Bob Ross sitting here doing my thing, just talking. Yeah, seriously, if there's something about this you want to know more about, or maybe it's too long, I don't know. Please message me, comment below, all those good things. So that is ready to be sealed, except I probably won't right away. I can already see an area that needs to see carved off more than I wanted to right there. Okay. So when this happens, I'm just going to quickly show you. I've got an area where there's a little chunk that I got that I didn't want. So I got two options. I can get a piece and try to do a little transfer there, or most of the time what I'll do is get a little graphite from a pencil sharpener, and that tends to darken it enough where it's not obvious. It doesn't completely fix it, but it at least makes it better. So let's sharpen the pencil a little bit. our secret, right? There. Nobody will know. At the same, nobody will know. Just a little bit. Put a little heat to it now. Yeah, I could sit here all day and find little things that could be better. Then I wouldn't get nothing else done. Dang it. One more thing. This line right here needs to be a little wider. There we go. I'm calling it. Thanks for following along. We'll talk to you next time.